You guys just you keep coming around. I just keep hearing about you guys.
And I might need to tell Ryan to cut that up a little bit and just put it in my audio for my phone.
First of all, I love the game. I had a passion to play the game, not only football, but I love the game of golf. And what it lends to a person and the friendships you develop on the golf course.
It's been a pleasure being on the drop. I wish you guys all the best down the road.
As someone like you have that golf itch like a lot of us do.
I keep track of you, and you are moving. You are on the move.
So listen, I'm a big New Jersey golf guy. You're very kind, Mike, and you too, Ryan. It's a pleasure to be on just a couple of Jersey boys here talking about something we love. All the best. I really enjoyed it.
This is the Drop Podcast where we talk golfing in the Garden State. I'm Mike Poro, and this is Ryan Coulott.
What's up, Drop Pod people? Welcome back to episode 157. Mike and I are here for the beginning of our fourth season, and we're excited to be here, Mike. This is really, we talked last week about 3 full seasons is in the book, and we're starting up season 4. I think what's on a pretty good high note here for today. So we got some stuff to chat about. So let's jump into our schedule real quick. Monday, yesterday, the 6th, was Mike versus Merion Golf Club. Wow, Mike. I'm excited for the listeners to hear about it. I'm actually excited myself to hear about it because we didn't really get a good debrief, a couple texts here or there, but I'm excited to hear about your time there. You played the East course, 6th ranked course in the country. I mean, if you don't know what Merion is or haven't heard of Merion, you've been living under a rock, or you're frankly probably new to golf, because it's a staple in the top 10 of golf courses in the country. So that was Monday. Today, Tuesday, is episode 157. Again, Mike and I are here. Mike, wave to the camera. Season 4 starting today. It's really a privilege, and we've really come a long way, from we put in the audio last week, which sounded absolutely awful, of our first couple episodes, to now, we're asking people to follow us on YouTube and subscribe, rate, review, all those things that are good for us. It's really been pretty cool. So you got us here today. Tomorrow, Wednesday, I'm in Ireland still, right? I might be taking the private jet home for the following week, but for this week, I'm playing Narren and Portneuf Golf Course, hole 6. It's a par 3. I'm back on the par 3 trains, Mike. It seems to be all I record is par 5s or par 3s, but it's a beautiful hole. I actually don't think that and I tried to do like a little pan. You'll see the video tomorrow, but I tried to get a view of the course, and you can see the ocean in the background and everything, but I don't think it does it justice. It was stunningly beautiful sitting on the tee and seeing the vistas, the water, it was breezy. So the fescue was blowing. It was a beautiful, beautiful view. So that's tomorrow. Our guest for this week on Thursday is the one, the only, Matt Janella, founder of the Fire Pit Productions, Fire Pit Collective. He's a storyteller. He goes in, he's digging into the stories and digging into the research and all those things. And it was really a great interview. It was another guy, Mike, that for us, it was cool to hear his voice, because we've listened to the stories, listened to the podcast. He talks about his time at Pasatiempo and that whole story. He's really done a good job. And if anyone's ever listened to his stuff, he's got a very unique voice, a very specific voice. So hearing him talk to us in that voice was one of those kind of pinch me moments. And I know he's not as big as some of the other guys are that we've had on there, but it was really pretty cool to hear that. So Matt Janella is our Thursday guest this week. And then Friday, we have an unboxing that we're gonna have for you. Mike and I both got some presents sent to us. And Mike, maybe we put one of the topics that's in here for today. We put it in right now. We got to thank Lab Putters, right? The Lab Putters, they sent us a little present. They had sent us ones a year ago, 2 years ago, and we had kind of we worked those, we used those, but there were some things with it that we, again, like I say it in there, mentally couldn't get around. But this is now a heel shafted putter, so it's a little bit different. So they had to work out the kinks with the lie angle and that kind of stuff. But they perfected it, and it was really great of them to send us some. So yeah, really big shout out to Lab Putter for hooking us up with some good gear.
It's in the sheet there. If you scroll down, it's one of the topics I knew that we had to say thank you to. But yeah, you listen, you'll see a lot of videos coming out from now through December of us using their putters, using this one specifically. So it's just one of those things. Yeah. Again, thank you very much.
Yeah, huge thank you. I'll finish it with this, Mike. We're going to talk about a course that we played just the other day, and I feel like I putted really pretty well. It rolled true. With everything, it's going to take some time getting used to like the speed, the feel, the read, and everything like that. But man, I felt like I rolled the rock really well. I felt like it just felt clean coming off the club, and I'm very excited to use this. I really am. So big shout out to them again. Thank you for sending us. And that's our schedule for this week.
This episode is presented by All County Exteriors. If you're a homeowner or builder in New Jersey, there's one name you need to know for exterior and interior modeling. It's All County Exteriors. From roofing, siding, windows and doors, to kitchens, bathrooms, flooring and trim, they do it all. And with over 40 years of experience as a third-generation, family-owned company, you're getting more than just a contractor. You're getting a team that stands behind their work. Now, it is a great time to finally start that deck project you've been putting off before the winter weather hits and lead times pile up. And when you choose All County, you're not just getting top-tier craftsmanship. You're supporting a company rooted in real community values, proudly giving back through organizations like Make-A-Wish, St. Jude's, Roofs for Troops, and Parents of Autistic Children. Right now, they're offering an instant 20% off a limited time. Call 732-370-2780 or email info@allcountyonline.com to schedule your free consultation. All County Exteriors, quality you can trust from people who care. All right, so let me hit you here with the fast facts. Last week at the Sanderson Farms Championship, John Pack did miss the cut, not really helping the cause in terms of improving his standing on the PGA Tour, on the FedEx Cup list, trying to secure a card for next year. Unfortunately, it's not looking likely unless a miracle happens for John. So he did miss the cut. But as we do look ahead, there is a fall event right now going on this week called the Bay Current Classic. And I'm not sure if you know where this event is, big fella. Do you know?
I do, only because I'm reading it off of our sheet right now. So
Gotcha.
I would be lying if I said anything others.
So it's out there in Japan, and Max and Chris are venturing out there, to the land, all the way out to Japan. So those two are in the field, and the Far East. And those two don't typically play in a lot of fall events because their card is pretty wrapped up. But I guess when you're talking about travel, you're talking about experiences, you're talking about making memories, those two are heading out there. Best of luck teeing off on Thursday. Listen, let's go get a win in this fall series event.
You got to think that this is part business trip, part pleasure trip, right? This is a vacation to go see what Japan is like and have some sponsors, help with flights out there. May not be getting to Japan ever. So you got to think that this is a, money grab / vacation /
Oh, it's only a money grab if they play well. Let's be honest.
That's what I'm saying. Obviously, they're going out there. They want to play well, right? They're not going out there to say, hey, I'm going to miss the cut and have, and then take an early flight back. They're not doing that, right? So they're clearly, I would imagine that it's a business / pleasure trip. As opposed to going somewhere else, you're going for business, right? Chris went out to Scotland to do what he did at the Scottish Open as a business trip. I would imagine that he wasn't excited about the pleasure part of that trip. You know what I mean?
I'm sure he was after the fact, but
well, yeah, but I mean, going into it, right?
Yeah. So those guys are going on. So best of luck to them. It's always nice to have the Star app highlighted on the PGA Tour's website to follow those guys. But sure. I think the more interesting one of this is the Corn Ferry Tour. Now, all season long, all the way back since January, we've been following Ryan and James on this journey, and we've documented this whole thing. And I will say this, we're recording before the final putt has been holed on Sunday. So with that being said, there's a lot of fluidity, a lot of movement, a lot of things that are going on right now with every single putt that is dropped. At the current moment, both guys obviously made the cut. They both made the cut, which is step one that you and I talk about all the time. And as we sit right now, Ryan is outside the top 75. So we need some things to move, to shift, to get in his favor, to get inside that 75. Whereas James is number 72 as we sit here and record, putting him inside. So I don't know how this whole thing plays out because, like I said, it's still going on. But I'm hopeful at this point when you're listening and you're tuning in on Tuesday that those guys are in the field for the Korn Ferry Tour Finals. Fingers crossed.
Yeah. Fingers crossed is right. You got to think you got to be going all into this, right? Like that's the thing that you got to be doing. I'm trying to find the leaderboard here. I mean,
the leaderboard for the points list or the round?
They have the points list like the on the right hand side. Here it is. I mean, we're through 2 days. We got a 20 under already. So this is a course where it's not a grind out situation here, right? These guys are throwing at pins and putting up big time numbers. So your game better be in good shape. And James is currently T16th. He's 12 under, shot a 62 yesterday. So you gotta go low. It's about getting under, I would say under 65 these next 2 days, and that would be good for him. And for Ryan, he's the same kind of thing, 68, 64. At 68, it's not going to cut it with what these numbers are. So I would say he's got to put up 2 rounds of sub 65 to make it happen. So we'll see.
I was texting with James Friday night, and we were talking about his round, and he was pumped up. So fingers crossed. I'm hopeful at this point when people are tuning in, they're seeing their name, come the finals, securing that card. But only time will tell. And that wraps up this week's Fast Facts.
Mike, we kind of mentioned this at the top of the episode here, that this is the beginning of year 4 for us. We got some new advertisers. We got a new format that we've kind of rolled out here on YouTube, new backgrounds and things like that. And we're growing little by little here, you and I. And as we said last week, it's a huge thank you to everyone who follows and all that. We don't need to go through, the thank you parade again, but let's talk about some of the things that the people are going to, hear, see, some things that are going to be different, coming up here in year 4 for us.
Yeah, well, first and foremost, I'd love to hear what people think about this new format on YouTube. I know there's been a large contingency of people that are now watching us and listening rather than strictly the listening side of it. So, this new format is something that you and I have kind of just put together. We're evolving as the podcast is growing, trying to give this a more aesthetic approach so people can enjoy it. I know that the critique still for me is it's a tan background of just a plain wall that I record here in my daughter's upstairs playroom. I get it. That's next on my hit list, and it's a little more enjoyable to look at your background than mine, but I'm getting there. But I will say, I think the new format is really neat. It's really cool. It gives a more visual look to it. You can see as the sponsors come on, it's more of a video graphic package that we're putting out there. And it's one of those things that I know people may have wanted to see from the early onset, but we just didn't have those capabilities at the time. So we're there. It's getting better. And I think it's aesthetically pleasing.
Yeah, I would say capabilities, yes, but also like you need time. You need basically time to dedicate to that kind of stuff. And in 4 years, we've kind of prioritized some things over the other. And as we get better at other things, or they come off the checklist or the to-do list, the other things start to, they're in the queue, they make their way up. And this is one of those things, we started with, plain ad reads and now we're moving into, there's graphics, there's motion, we got some videos going. So we are improving each time. And as we said last week, not a full-time gig for us. So we're making that work.
And then when you talk about the advertisers, obviously we went through the gamut of who's been with us from the very beginning. And I know I teased last week some of the bigger names that have decided to hop on because they kind of see where this rocket ship is going. And I do want to formally announce as we head here in season 4 of the Drop podcast, we've got we have 3 new advertisers on the show. First and foremost, you got Thrive, cybersecurity. They're the guys behind the scenes, making sure that all our stuff stays safe. You're going to see a lot of their stuff on Thursday's show. Phenomenal people, really believe in the things that we're doing. So, a nice addition to us and kind of what we do, more so behind the scenes. And the other 2 are more probably household names. When I say these 2, you're probably like, oh, wow. One being the Sugarloaf Social Club. Like these guys, you see the SSC logo a lot. They always are branding the golf sicko. You kind of see that phrase termed a lot. It's underneath the Pro Shop umbrella. We've had Chad Mumm on. We've had Rob DiChiaro on, Dan Rappaport. These guys are all under that Pro Shop umbrella. And that's kind of where the Sugarloaf Social Club sits. So these guys are involved in things that we're doing. They believe in the things that we're doing. So, welcome to the ship here that's about to take off to who knows where. And then the last one I think is the one that is kind of a crazy thing for you and I to say. And I know that, people have said and heard things about this, but I've kind of coined it as the partnership we've all been waiting for. Jersey Mike's and the Drop podcast are formally partners on the podcast. So you're going to hear a lot of different ad reads about them. 2 local franchise owners decided to say, hey, listen, we believe in what you're doing. It may not be on a corporate level, but hey, listen, we're putting the name Jersey Mike's behind what you do. What a big time addition for 2 guys like you and I.
Huge. And you're right, Mike. We're talking New Jersey golf, and what's more Jersey than Jersey Mike's, right? You look at like the things that are typical New Jersey. You got Sopranos, Bruce Springsteen, Jersey Mike's is right up there with the best of them, right? So we're a podcast that talks New Jersey golf. They're a sandwich place that's servicing originally New Jersey. Now, my dad lives out in Chicago and he wants a sandwich. He's going to Jersey Mike's out in Chicago. So it's a national brand now. I know that it's 2 shop owners kind of near to us, but yeah, it's a huge step and a great stepping stone. Hopefully it continues to grow that way. But yeah, thank you to those guys. And just going back to Sugarloaf, those guys that we've met and interviewed and connected with, it's just like we're kind of trying to hit all their pillars, right? They talk about like we had Chad Mumm and talked about the different pillars that he talked about, right? What's the word I'm looking for the movie Happy Gilmore, like the movie industry, right? This is just another pillar that is under there. So we're very, very fortunate to have been able to connect to them, and it's a great opportunity. Really is. Very excited for this quarter, this season, and this what we got going on. This is a big step forward for us.
Yeah, and I'll put it out there to anybody else. At this point, it's one of those things you're still getting on kind of, I don't want to say the ground level, but before this thing hits outer space, you might want to hop in. So DMs are always open. The email is the dropgolfpodcast@gmail.com. We got a lot more exciting things coming down the line that are working a lot, very hard behind the scenes. Stay tuned.
Yeah, it's not the ground floor anymore. We're at worst case, we're on the staircase going up to the second floor, right? To keep that metaphor going.
As the leaves begin to turn into those stunning fall colors, there's no better place to enjoy it than Galloping Hill Golf Course in Union County, New Jersey. Whether you're looking to play a round of championship level golf, plan the wedding of your dreams, or relax with casual indoor or outdoor dining at a modern gastro pub, Galloping Hill has it all. Not many public golf facilities can boast a top-ranked 18-hole golf course, a top 10 in the country 9-hole course, and a top 50 in the country learning center that is home to one of the only golf simulators at a municipally owned golf course in the country. The Swing Suite at Galloping Hill can be booked for an hour to work on your game or multiple hours to have an awesome hangout with your friends while you watch the game. Enjoy the bar style foods and drinks while playing some of the most famous courses in the world on this simulator. To top it all off, Galloping Hill will be hosting the first stage of Corn Ferry Tour Q School this October. It's all happening this year at Galloping Hill Golf Course.
Mike, let's get into your day at Merion Golf Club, because I'm sure it was a fantastic day. I'm just going to be straight with you. I am super excited to hear about this. So hit us with your time there at Merion.
Well, I think Jack Nicklaus said it best. It's the best test of golf per acre in the world. I think you hear that line and you're like, okay, you hear that, okay. But when a guy of Jack Nicklaus caliber has that, and I quote that, that's hard. That's a big line to be said. And it's one of those things, I did my homework before I went there. I'm watching every video. I'm reading every little thing. I got a map out as to what I'm hitting off every tee shot, knowing how the holes went. I am preparing as if I'm playing in a major championship because...
Did you play any video games?
No, but I'll chat GPT'd how far I hit every shot, what every hole's design is, my natural tendencies, my draw on where a tee box I'm playing, and it spit it out. A whole recommendation on what I should on every hole. And I was preparing as if I was playing the final round at Augusta. But I went in there fully prepared. And there's one of those things, again, you hear the words, you hear what people said, but it just met and exceeded all expectations once again. I got on the ground, I'm walking through, I'm taking pictures. I'm sure a lot of people saw the carousel that went out yesterday of all these different things. It was just a spot that is just covered in history. You're walking through a locker room that is just old school as old school gets. It gave me a lot of Ridgewood vibes in there. And you get on the golf course, it's just so good. I mean, I don't even know how to describe it. We can go through some holes that I thought were unbelievable. I'm sitting next to the Bobby Jones, little, he had like a plaque out there more or less. I'm kind of butchering that aspect because I'm drawing a blank. There were so many different things about it.
It's all right.
Yeah.
Was the clubhouse big? Like you just said, it gave you Ridgewood vibes.
No, the clubhouse wasn't big. The locker room gave me Ridgewood vibes.
Oh, okay. Where it's kind of old school. You got like exposed beams.
Metal lockers. Yeah, big time. And listen, I'm there. I'm hitting golf balls. Who else is there is Justin Rose. I mean, it's kind of crazy. You had a contingency of people out there. And people, if you don't know, he won the U.S. Open at Merion East in 2013. He won. They gave him an honorary membership, because he won there. The next day, he sent the check in for full payment for his membership, which, I don't think people really realize that, like, Justin Rose is clearly a good dude.
Yeah.
And then there's just so many good holes out there, dude. 16, 17, 18, unbelievable finishing 3 holes. I really wasn't allowed to film much content. I kind of was, and I understood that a place of this aura, this caliber really is not going to allow you to do certain things like that. But I was able, as you saw yesterday, to film a Mike verse on the hardest hole on the golf course. And I took the round. One of those things, I enjoyed it as much as I could, but I took it as seriously as I could because when you're playing spots like that, you want to play well. You want to play as good as you can. And I did fire a smooth 76. I did play the member tees. So I know some people, there's tees that go further back, but we played the member tees. And being able to post a number like that, I thought was very encouraging to the golf game.
Yeah.
And I thought it was a good look for the podcast that, we can golf a little bit. So I said to the member that invited me, you got our number. And if you're looking for an additional one, I'm sure I could find somebody that would love to join me.
This guy right here.
Yep. But I do have some interesting facts for you. I do have an interesting fact.
Yeah, I want to ask you the first thing I got to ask you is, and this is where I'm gonna ask you the baskets,
the wicker baskets.
The wicker baskets.
Did you know that?
How cool are they?
But here's an interesting thing that I didn't know until I got out there, that on the front 9, all the wicker baskets are red. As you go to the back 9, all the wicker baskets are orange. And this dates back to when the golf course, the designer originally was in Europe, and I want to say it was Scotland. I may be wrong with my history here.
I'll tell you what, I actually, not only do I have it up right now, Mike, but I did also know this. It's a Hugh Wilson course originally. And I was going to ask you about that because we've kind of talked about like how we like particular people's designs. I don't know if you've played another Hugh Wilson course or, like we've talked about Tillinghast for me. I like that. Donald Ross, again, beautiful, but I don't play well at those courses. So I was going to ask you about Hugh, but he went over. He took a 7-month trip after he got hired to make Merion. He went over to both Scotland and England to study kind of the British Isles courses because that's what they kind of wanted to go to.
So over there, they have typically one green at the time had 2 flags. Mm-hmm. Okay. It had a red and an orange. So when he came back and put his final touches on Merion, all the front 9 have red wicker baskets and all the back 9 has an orange tint. And the member said, not many people notice that while you're out here. They kind of find that out after the round. And one of the guys I was playing with had brought that up. And I'm like, holy hell. It's just those little details that you don't see that, like, man, oh man, wicker baskets. I'll say this about the flags. They're heavy. The flagpole that goes in it, into the hole with the wicker baskets, those things are heavy.
There's something with the baskets, and again, I'm not gonna know it. I'm gonna be off, but I'm not gonna be that far off. But they're handmade every year. I think I remember watching the U.S. Open there. They talked about the wicker baskets that like they're outsourced to like some company like does them by hand, and it's like a thing that like that's the only thing the company does. It's a very neat story. We're gonna have to try to do some research and get that out for you. But
yeah, and I got 2 other things here on it, right? That I just I thought you would love in terms of the history side of it. Mm-hmm. The first is their famous halfway house sandwich, or I don't even know how you describe it. So it is Merion's peanut butter and jelly and bacon sandwich. Now, this is like, you know how many DMs we had received, because you probably didn't see them, but how many DMs that people sent us, like, how was the PB&J and bacon? How was it? Did you eat it? What'd you think of it? Now,
PB&J. That's what it is, PBBJ.
Yeah, and whatever, and bacon. Yeah, and bacon. Whatever the case was.
Peanut butter, bacon, and jelly. PBBJ. B&J.
Yeah, I think they call it like peanut butter and jelly with bacon. Something like that.
Okay.
I didn't eat it.
Didn't eat it.
I didn't eat it.
Well, you don't eat anything, so that doesn't.
Well, that's not the case. I mean, I don't like jelly, so I didn't have it. Okay. But everybody in my group did, and I did have to tell all the followers and people that were texting and DMing that, like, everybody in my group swore by it, said it's a can't miss. If you're not as crazy and lunatic side of things with your food like I am, you got to take a bite. You got to eat it. So that was there. It's one of their, well-loved by members. It's considered one of the signature lunch items that they have. You're talking salty, you're talking sweet contrast. That's number one in terms of the food menu items. But I thought the one thing on the golfing side is that after the 2026, next year's US Am is being played there at Merion East. They're going to have the record for the most USGA championships in American golf history, sitting at a record number. Do you have a guess on what you think that number could be? Now I'm talking strictly USGA.
It's gotta be near 20, I would imagine. 23, I'll say. We'll go Michael Jordan.
Very close. Next year will be number 20, the most in American history, golf history. So listen, I had a day. a day to remember, special spot. And people did ask me. I got a lot of texts because, again, I've been fortunate to play Pine Valley #1. I've been now Merion #6. Like, what'd you think? Was Merion better? Some people, frankly, told me they liked Merion more than Pine Valley. I referenced it this way. 2 completely different golf courses, but both extremely difficult golf courses. Merion, more open. You can spray the ball. Bunkering, unbelievable. You can see why fairway bunkers are put in certain spots. You got to hit the ball straight, in a sense, if you want to hit the fairway, and you got to play out of the fairway at Merion. Have to, okay? Whereas Pine Valley is more tree lined. You know, there's a lot of pines down there. You can hit the ball in a tree. You're punching out things along those lines. You don't know anybody else is out there. Merion, you can kind of look around. You could take it all in. But 2 unbelievable pieces of property, again, sitting right here in our northeast corridor that you and I just love.
Mike, I'm going to do a quick little history lesson here because I just got the wicker baskets. So the East course is the one with the wicker baskets. The West course has the traditional flags, which
Correct.
again is kind of unique. Hugh Wilson went with the wicker basket because the sheep herders in Scotland and England, right, they'd have these big sticks while they're out herding sheep, and they'd put their lunches in a basket at the top of this staff, okay, so that like the animals wouldn't get to their food. So it was kind of like a walking stick / you kind of put it in the ground where you can do your work, right? So it's safe up top there. So that's kind of the idea that he brought it back for. The sticks, as you said, are heavy. They're solid metal instead of like the fiberglass that is normally there. So they're really, really heavy. As you said, red and orange, which I wonder if I would notice that because I have a color blindness with shades issues, and orange and red are a little too close. So I wonder if I would have caught that had I not known. So they were originally made up until 1980. They were made by a member of the grounds crew on staff. Okay. Then a woman in South Carolina whose name and location are purposely kept anonymous, she now creates the baskets.
Wow.
So it is like a one woman is there doing them and then sends them to the club. So I don't know if she makes wicker baskets just in general and does these specifically for Merion. I don't know. But again, she's purposely kept anonymous, and anyone who wins an event at Merion receives a wicker basket top. So that's pretty cool too. Wickers are destroyed if the wicker baskets are broken. The golf course superintendent collects the wickers every night, so they're not stolen.
I did know that. Because if you know, Merion's kind of like right on a street. So people can, in theory, walk right onto the golf course.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah, so it's not that secluded private spot. So I did ask that question that every single day the flags are pulled because they're worried about people potentially stealing them.
Wow.
Yeah, kind of crazy. And I did find this one line that I think is kind of interesting, about Merion too. And I'm stealing a quote from somebody here, so I quote this. If Pine Valley is golf's cathedral, Merion might be its library, a place where strategy, history, and precision live between the ropes. And I thought that was like, okay, that kind of put things in perspective for me when you're thinking about a lot of different angles there.
That gave me tingles. That's a good quote. That's really good. Yeah, that's one that I think when we talk about like golf in the Northeast here, that there's some that get overlooked, and maybe because we're a New Jersey podcast, we talk mostly about Baltusrol or Ridgewood or some of these, but Merion is one that is just, it's tough to say it's sneaky good for being in the top 10 of the country, that it's not a secret, but it is one of those that's just every time that they, I remember going back to Justin Rose being there and that championship, and they've had so many others, but like it's one that should get more flowers than it gets, I would say.
Yeah. Special day, special spot. Even seeing Justin Rose there made it just icing on the cake.
Did you get to talk to him?
No, because when I was walking to the 14th hole, he was sitting and eating lunch. So with this group of people, you're obviously not going to go interrupt him, especially being a guest of a member at a spot like that. And then when I was putting my last ball on 18, he was teeing off of 1. So you saw a group of people, probably members, watching him go off. So it's not one of those things that I could be like, hey, here's a sticker of ours. Why don't you come on the podcast? I didn't have the opportunity to kind of plug things that way. But I did raid the pro shop afterwards. So
did you?
I did.
Good for you. How many polos did you get?
I got 1 polo. I got a new 3-wood head cover. I don't know if you saw it the other day, but I got.
I didn't notice it. No.
Yeah, I did. I was kind of waiting to see if you looked in the bag, but you didn't peek in the bag. You were so focused on your round. I get it.
I was dialed.
Yeah, I know you were, so I get it. But you'll have to take a peek at the new head cover because
nice.
To me, I selfishly, when I think about my golf bag, people ask me this all the time. I hate my hybrid. I absolutely hate it.
Mm-hmm.
And I'd rather carry the 3-iron instead. But I can't take the hybrid out because it has a Pine Valley head cover. So it just sits in the bag as just that extra club in the bag, even though it is my 14th club because of the head cover. So I said, when I go to Merion, I'm getting a 3-wood head cover because I don't need the Titleist head cover because this 3-wood's never going to come out of the bag.
Yeah.
So I proceeded to get a Merion head cover. So I got the Drop Podcast, Merion, Pine Valley. Didn't think that's a bad little grouping.
It's not a bad grouping. No. I mean, Mike, I'm similar with mine. I got a bunch of Ireland ones. I got a Baltusrol one for one of my woods last time I was there to kind of finish the collection. And actually my 3-wood head cover is from St. Patrick's, but I got it the first time I went. So 2+ years ago. And it's one of those, because the pro shop at St. Patrick's is not really a pro shop. It's a storage unit, right? That they have a small, they got some stuff, but they really don't have a lot of head covers. And I love the course. It's a special place, but it's one of those like socks that has like, it's got like frays coming out the top of it. And the frays are starting to go. So I'm going to need a new 3-wood head cover at some point. So maybe it's Merion. Maybe if I get the call out there, or Pine Valley, maybe I get the call out there, one of those two. But it is funny that we have that. Like that's a quirk that golfers kind of have.
George Wall Ford in Red Bank, New Jersey is family owned and operated, proudly serving New Jersey residents with superior customer service since 1960. Rye, share your story about your experience there.
I can't say enough good things about George Wall Ford. I needed a new car. I had an old. I loved the brand that I had. I loved, it was an SUV, but had 165,000 miles on it. It was just time, So I hopped on over to George Wall Ford. I saw our guy Jerry, and Jerry and his team were awesome. I mean, from stem to stern, they're there, they're helping, they're knowledgeable. They have so many cars on the lot that you can go in and say, hey, I want a sunroof, a navigation, I want this kind of rims on it. There's a great chance that they have that car with all your specs, the color, all that thing. I like to be higher in my car. And I went and saw Jerry. He pointed me in the right direction. And again, it's awesome to have that kind of help and support from your salesman to the finance guy to even they got somebody who helps you set up your car, right? I got an app on my phone now that's got my auto start on it. I can locate my car if I don't know where it is. I could take a trip to Japan if I wanted to and be like, did I lock my car? And I can go into the app and lock my car. So just the hands-on approach over there is incredible. So if you need a car, head on over to George Wall and go ask for Jerry. They were awesome there. Again, stem to stern from everybody. I can't say enough good things about it. It was an unbelievable experience.
There isn't a better place to shop for a brand new car. Just call 732-704-1932 and ask for Jeremy Wall. George Wall Ford in Red Bank for all your car buying needs.
Mike, let's move into our day at Pine Barrens with Zach from the Makeshift Project. Now, what a day we had out there. I mean, you talk about an experience that we had. Those guys it was great to get to meet Zach, talk to him, pick his brain about stuff. We interviewed him. That interview is going to come out in a couple weeks. I mean, just an amazing, amazing day. Huge shout out to Brian DeMarco at Pine Barrens. Thank you for allowing us to use the facility, and we did some recording out there. That stuff will come out as we go through. The course was in fantastic shape. I mean, just it was perfect in every way. I mean, it was a great day of golf. That was just, again, kind of one of those pinch me moments. Like, we're out there recording content with Zach from the Makeshift Project, and we all, if you haven't seen their stuff, or if you don't know who we're talking about, I'm guessing you've seen their stuff, because they've had many videos go viral on Instagram, TikTok, YouTube. You've probably seen their stuff. It was really, really cool to do that with them.
Yeah, I mean, you're talking nearly 6 million followers across all their social media platforms on top of their podcast. They are well known. So I think maybe the name Zach may not ring a bell, but if you Google Makeshift Project, I'm sure once you see them, you're like, oh, those guys. Yeah. And on top of it, Zach's a stick. He could get he can golf his golf ball a little bit. So it's always nice being out there, chumming it up with guys like that are in this content creation space that you and I have kind of dived into head first. Obviously what we do is a lot different than what they do. But in terms of like our little niche, it's kind of similar. So, it was one of those things behind the scenes. Again, the amount of emails that probably had gone back and forth trying to figure this whole thing out goes on and on and on. So you can finally wrap up a date, and we got one. Brian DeMarco opened up his door. But let's talk a little bit about Pine Barrens itself. It is tucked kind of in the forest there of Ocean County, in an area that not many people probably think a golf course may lie. You hear a lot of rumors about now Eagle Ridge is going, they lost 9 holes, what's going on? But then you get to Pine Barrens and it just has this look. The log cabin feel is kind of one that you don't see a lot. I just think that clubhouse, especially the way the barn sits and all the golf carts are in it, it just opens your eyes like, wow, the minute that you park your car.
Yeah, I mean, they leaned into the Pine Barrens part of it in a big way. I mean, the with the logo, you start with going into the driveway, and you got the sign on both sides with the simplicity of the logo that's just with the name. And then you go down, and it feels like you're driving 10 minutes down this driveway that's just lined with pine trees. And you can see the golf course. It kind of gives you a little, it almost teases you in a way. You're kind of looking around and be like, ooh, look at that. Like, that's really cool. But you can't really see it through the trees, but you kind of can. And then you see another thing and another thing. And eventually you kind of wind your way in, and you see, again, you got the log cabin and the barn there. And it's just, it's like a log cabin house in the middle of the woods is really what it looks like and feels like. Really, really cool. And inside, it's the same thing. It's not like the outside is just this facade, and then inside no. Inside is like the locker room is like, has wooden beams. And I don't mean like wooden, like pressure treated, like squared off or rectangled off. No. These are rounded, like Lincoln log looking pieces of wood that are in there. It was really, really cool. Just an incredible experience.
Pine Valley-Lite comparisons.
Love that.
You like
I
that
think
one?
if you remember, remember when I said, because I did get to play it earlier this year, and I actually said it's a little bit like Matitaconk in that you're kind of in the woods there. And I think I might have said it on the pod or we talked about it. I said I haven't been to Pine Valley, but I imagine there's some similarities with how it's kind of in the woods there. Just from seeing Pine Valley from above.
That's kind of what I wrote down here. I wrote Pine Valley-Lite comparisons. Okay. I thought the owner and the course architect, Eric Bergstall, who did Bayonne, who did New Jersey National, he didn't just design a golf course. Like, he sculpted it through the landscape.
Yeah.
The pines, the oaks, the holly trees. Like, you kind of get this native sand-based soil that just allows for so much versatility. And I think that people may say that Pine Valley-Lite is a knock. I think you compare anything to Pine Valley, it's more like a feather in the cap. So I thought the golf course, for the first time of playing it in quite some time, because I had a horror story there early on in my life, it was in unbelievable shape.
I was shocked that this is where you were trying to get to, actually, because of that. So yeah, it was great. Again, big shout out to Brian DeMarco and the people at Pine Barrens. You're doing a bang up job, from the outside operations to the guys inside. To Zach had an unbelievable looking breakfast sandwich from the restaurant there. Stem to stern, top notch. Those guys are everybody there is doing a bang up job. So big shout out to you guys there for having us, and keep up the good work. Mike, I do want to stay kind of on this for a second, and you're going to be thrown off by this because it's not on our sheet, but in honor of Zach being on the podcast and them doing these, blind draw, you are going to rank these pet peeves of golf. You ready?
I hope so.
Okay. Again, 1 through 5, you know the drill, right? 1 through 5. You don't know any of these that are coming at you. You're going to have to place them in an order. You ready?
God, you know I don't like surprises. I don't like surprises. And let me tell you, I don't like surprises.
Here you go. Number 1. Let me throw this in there. This is like a guy, right? A golf guy that like does these things, right? The golf guy that has iron covers.
Number 2.
Okay.
Weird. Whoever has iron covers, you're weird. I hate to say it. Just not. I'm not sure I want to tee it up with you.
You go golfing with this guy, and he finds his ball every time he hits it into the woods.
Number 4, because I think it ends up being comedy. I end up turning my normal conversations into straight sarcasm.
Okay. Love it.
Guess you found it, I guess. Guess you found that one too, huh? We saw the splash. You got your scuba gear. You got it. You're right. I forgot.
Number 3. The guy who gets absolutely bombed on the golf course. Every time he sees the cart girl, it's 2 or 3 drinks.
Yeah, probably number 1. I can't stand being around drunk people. I can't. You want to have a cocktail or 2, fine. But when you're drunk and you're out of your mind, nothing good comes from that. So I'm putting that number 1 as a major, major pet peeve. There's a bar for you, not a golf course.
I would agree. So we got 1, the guy who gets bombed. 2, the iron cover guy. 4, the guy who finds the ball every time. Right. So we got 2 more spots left. You got 3.
I know.
And
It's
5.
not gonna be easy.
Okay. The guy who is consistently talking during the round. All the time.
Number 3. Shut up. At this time. Shut up. Number 3. I mean, I guess if I could do it over, I'd change some of these up, but I'm putting that at number 3. It would get to the point for someone like me who's just blunt to the point. I just tell him, like, listen, dude, stop. Or to make it better, I might just start carrying my bag.
Okay. It's a fair way to go, for sure. Because, it's one of those that's like, you gotta stop talking. You gotta stop talking when it's in my backswing, when I'm over the ball. I haven't said a word yet. Shut up. And the last one, Mike. So obviously this is your 5th, right? I have the golf hardo, the guy who's calling out little rules. The guy who is, he shows up in his, in basketball, we call it the Dr. Hoops outfit, right? The guy that's got the rec specs, the arm sleeve, he's got all the gear, but is atrocious. The golf hardo is who you have at number 5.
Yeah, I guess I'd have to put up with the golf hardo compared to that list. I mean, but I'll be honest with you. I think if I had to think about it, like I think I could live with that. The rule follower, the traditionalist, the nerd, the golf sicko. Like, I think I could probably deal with that being probably the least worst of the worst in a sense.
Yeah.
So I think I did pretty damn well for a guy like me.
I think that you in some ways are similar to that golf hardo. So I think him being number 5, I think is for sure like where you would put him.
Yeah, I'll take that list.
So there we go. 1, the guy who gets bombed. You don't like drunk people. 2, the iron cover guy. 3, the guy who is constantly talking. 4, the guy who finds his ball every time. And 5, the golf hardo. There's a list for you.
95? Give me a 95 on that? I think I get an A.
I thought it was pretty good. It's pretty good. I'd change some things personally, but yeah, I thought while we had Zach's the list guy. Makeshift is the list. I thought we would honor them in having our own kind of blind draw list ourselves there.
Nice job.
All right, Mike, that's going to be it for us today. We had a bunch of stuff that we covered. Again, just quick recap. Big shout out to Brian DeMarco, the guys at Pine Barrens, to the member that took you out at Merion. What an experience for you. And for us being 4 years, it's another big step. Thank you to Zach and the Makeshift Project guys for coordinating with us and all that stuff. And looking forward to hopefully a fruitful, bountiful, a good relationship that we'll have with them moving forward. So that's it for Mike and I for today. Stay tuned Thursday. Again, Matt Janella, golf storyteller. It's all you need to know. He's gonna tell us some stories. It's a great interview. You guys are really gonna have a good time and be entertained with his with how he tells stories and kind of his story as well. So stay tuned Thursday for Matt. Till then, cheers.